Hey fellow hunters, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Vintage Story, episode 67, Pit and Box Traps.
The first order of business for you guys is to vote on what I do. So I'm going to cover all of these options over here. We have quality of life, work on the storage room. So one thing that I could do in the storage room is move the pit kilns down there, move the charcoal burning pit down there, add a lot more chests and organize, chests and crates and organize. Whoa, holy cow. Algerian, that is quite the cheer. And resubs and everything, man, what a hype train. Cheers, everyone. All right, we can also improve the kitchen. Right now, the amount that we can improve the kitchen by isn't much, but what I could do is I could build a fruit press, build a still, you know, there's other objects for the kitchen that I could add in, like the fruit press and still, but as long as the compost barrels are there, sort of blocking where I want to expand into, the kitchen can only get so much better. So, you know, there's that. We could also start trapping. There's a few different types of animals that I would consider domesticating. Probably chickens for eggs, which is a pretty easy protein source as long as they eat fodder. Sheep for milk, and pigs for meat and fat. So any of those three. In order to domesticate goats and deer, because I haven't re-rendered the chunks around my base, so everything around my base right now, more or less, is like 1.18 chunks. Meaning that if I wanted to start finding deer or goats, I would have to travel further than I've gone before. But with that said, there's not actually a lot of, I'm not missing anything, I'll put it that way. I'm actually going to have to quickly reboot the game. It's like not playing to my headset. So, 1 second. And then steel baking. So that's another priority. To start a pulverizer. Building the pulverizer itself is a tiny fraction of the steelmaking process. But we would want a pulverizer. We would want chutes for the pulverizer. Then we would want to get bauxite quartz for the refractory bricks, fire them up, and start working on it. It's a big process. Steelmaking is a big process, but that's on there. We could also search for salt. Actually, I've searched for salt twice on that list. I meant to take one of them off. But we could search for resources that I have not yet found, like salt, silver, peridot, etc. You know, just stuff that we're going to want or need. And we could also improve the windmill as a quality of life project. So the windmill right now is just like dirt and weird. In fact, I can't even see it because these windows are covered by snow. So yeah, we could actually spruce up the windmill because it's very in process right now, for lack of a better term. Or viewer suggestions. If you have anything that I missed that you think I should do, we could add that too. So it looks to me like I got some rye. Rye is a cold-loving grain that is a little stunted because I planted it sort of late summer-ish, meaning that it did not fully yield, but that's fine. I don't think we're going to have an issue with hunger. And in fact, much of the farms have come up. So most of the rest of this rye field is just about ready to go as well. We have some mature flax, which is awesome. I can't wait to add more sales. For now, I think in order for the windmill to be always reliable, I want to continue focusing solely on windmill sales. And I will consider using linen for other things once, even at low wind, we have working health hammers. Being at the whims of wind is not fun. When you guys vote, hey, you know, you should make some lanterns or something like that, right? And then it's like, oh, sorry, wind's low. So we got to vote for something else. Like, that doesn't work for me. So I want my mechanisms that I have hooked up to always have power. All right, I think those were all the mature seeds. And let's put the foods away and then reseed. Backroad Runner, thank you for the resub. I'm probably going to need more storage vessels at some point, just because of the amount of... like, some of these I could just throw out, save room. Because I really don't need, like, a random white oyster mushroom. In fact, I'll just eat it raw. Don't care. But yeah, we are absolutely running out of room soon. Which is, like, a good thing. It means that we've been super productive. And I'm going to leave this poll up a little bit longer until I finish with the farms. And then whatever wins, I'll start working on. And thank you all for the hype train. Y'all too kind. Captain, Soulblader, Shona, thank you, thank you. Okay, it looks like we have enough for a set of sails, I think. And I think, if I am not mistaken, that will actually max out the first rotor that I have. I'm pretty sure. So let's just get a whole bunch of sticks and max out that first rotor. What I wanted to do... Oh, my sticks aren't in here anymore. Man, that's a force of habit. There we go. What I wanted to do was to get at least 2 rotors going, and then if we continue working on more rotors versus continue with or start using linen for something else, that will be up to you. Time for a sketchy climb. Oh yeah. Actually, thank you for the resub too. I might want a lantern here. Everything up here made of dirt. It's weird. Okay, there we go. It is maxed out. And I'm getting like crazy high wind right now. I do appreciate the view up here. It's too bad it's like sketchy to climb. At some point I can make it easier by enclosing a ladder so that it's like within a... Or even put staircases. I would not necessarily be against that either. Check it up on the bees. They're all harvestable. But I am not going to deviate too much from the plan, so let's go back to the farm. Anywhere that I can put flax seeds down, I want to. Not there. So I'm looking for... oh, and there's even more rye. I'm looking for K in the soil. I haven't fully explained the way that that crop rotation works. So each type of crop will use one type of nutrient from the soil, and what ends up happening is the nutrients that they're not using. So like, let's say I plant flax. Flax is going to pull potassium from the soil, and then while it's depleting the potassium from the soil, the other 2 types of nutrients that are planted there will slowly be filled back up with potassium. So if I leave, for instance, this Terra Preta empty, all of its nutrient levels will slowly increase back up to 80, because 80 is its base rate. And if I planted something with like nitrates requiring soil, what would end up happening is it would drain the nitrates, while the phosphates and the potassium refills. So in order to, if you rotate your crops, you don't actually have to fertilize that very often. Whereas if you don't rotate your crops, you're going to have to constantly fertilize. So therein is the difference. I don't really care what I'm planting so much, as long as, like, the flax is prioritized. Oh, that won't work. Both of these are N, and this plot of land has no N left. So we will do onion seeds. Now, the crop rotations for medium fertility soil is not that big of a deal, because medium fertility soil is a dime a dozen, meaning that it is not... It's easily just dug out. You can excavate it and then, you know, replace it. But for terra preta or high fertility, not that anyone on 1.19 is using high fertility anymore, for terra preta and high fertility, you know, it does matter. Alright, I think this is the only spot left. I believe everything is sown now. Yeah. On this side. You can make terra preta now? Oh, I know. I've actually made most of the terra preta that's in the base at the moment. Alright, this needs P. I think we are... Yeah, it's... I mean, if I miss somewhere, like, who cares? It's just one spot. I'll put it that way. You're catching up on past vids? Oh, no problem. Yeah, I've been making terra preta for a bit now. Some of this I found, but there's a reason why I have so many compost barrels going. So that I can... As the compost gets finished, add more terra preta to the farm. And then cherish it, because it is so good. Alright, looks like we are going to start trapping and animal domestication. So, my plan is to get chickens, and then possibly another larger animal. So what... larger animal, or actually what animals to get? Chickens, boars, or sheep. You guys can pick what I work on first. So the benefits. Chickens will give me eggs. They're pretty easy to feed. They're pretty easy to domesticate because the time it takes for them to breed is short. They don't take up a lot of room, and they're very easy to transport because you can stick them in the reed traps now. So chickens are very, very low effort for a pretty decent amount of benefits. Boars would be really good for fat and meat. And the reason why I would consider it is fats are, of course, needed for a lot of the mechanizations. So that's pretty sweet. And then sheep would give me milk. And milk is a nutrition type that I've not ever fulfilled yet. And won't be able to until I have, you know, sheep domesticated. But I think probably they're a little, I would say they're a little bit more challenging, as they do damage and they're fussy and hard to milk. And there's some things that you could do to make it a little bit easier, but generally speaking, yeah, they're gonna make, you're gonna need armor to do it. It's not something that you can do like day one, because they will ram you and harm you, which is oh so fun. All right, my armor's in pretty good condition, and I think what I'm gonna do is work on both chickens and sheep. I think that that is not unreasonable. Oh, wow. Did the wind really stop? Yeah, it must be dead calm up there. Or something went wrong. Alright, I gotta investigate. Because all I have hooked up to the windmill right now is a quarn, which does not take a lot of mechanical power to turn. So the fact that everything came to a dead halt is very strange. I suppose it could be like wind speed 0, and it's just not enough wind to turn. I just want to see for myself. Yep, wind speed 6%. That checks out. There's not a lot that can be done. Oh god. Yeah, I hadn't made that safe. There's not a lot that can be done to fix that, apart from having your windmill be, like, excessively tall. That would be the only way to really solve the low wind speed problems. Well, now I get to work on my nutrition again. And, yeah. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up some basic traps for chickens. And then work on sheep. I'm also going to need to set up a place for them to physically be in the base. So I had some thoughts about the spot, but I'm curious about your feedback. So the thoughts I had was that oh, you know, let's get a brew stew going. So protein with, let's go with onions because I have so many dang onions. Unfortunately, dying to stupid things like I just did is not great in the winter, because, like, fulfilling my fruit needs is going to be a little bit more challenging. Yeah, light. Oh, I don't have any fuel. Oh my god. Says this I've never played before. So, options for animals. One option is to have a barn this way, mimicking this side of the base, but just that direction. Because this is sort of underneath the greenhouse and unused. Another is to expand the dry stone fences outwards and use this area, which would need to be filled because a lot of it is lake, as you can see. And then the last one would... Oh, let's close the door while I'm in. The last one would be back here, underneath the apiary. You know, I could wrap around or something. So I'm going to have you vote on those 3 spots. Where to put the animals. Across from the leather working room. Next to the kitchen. Or under the apiary. So you asked a question of, is it worth the wax and making crocks to prep meals and seal them for later? Only if you are running out of a specific resource, in my opinion. So, for things like fruit, which is very hard to obtain in the winter, yes. But for things like grain or vegetables that are very easy to obtain in the winter, no. That would be my 2 cents. So it depends on resource scarcity. So let's first work on chickens, shall we? I keep forgetting that my wood isn't in here. So I'm going to make a trough for them. And then I'm going to work on trapping some. A small trough will lure them into... here, bud. We'll lure them into a pit. So I'm going to dig a bit of a pit here. And then I can also like plant like crops as well. That will work. Where's my reed baskets anyway? Oh, it was these. Let's take these back out. And what I would like, ideally, is to have a breeding pair of both chickens and roosters. Like, at least one of each. And I will put in some flax grain as lure. I think flax grain works on traps. In fact, I will grab a whole stack of flax grain because I can put that in the trough as well. Can you vote multiple times? No. And let's get rid of that little rip. Alright, so I did identify that there was chickens over this way. So I'm going to dig a pit trap to try to trap them. And then lay out traps as well. I will double it up. Double the chances. And then after that, I will start constructing the pen for the sheep. Now, before I even go digging the traps, I would like visual confirmation that chickens still exist around here. How long until spring? It is November 7th, so quite a while. We are early winter. Oh, hey, flax. Mature flax. Don't mind if I do. Good. Middle of the winter and I'm getting wet. I'm sure that will be great for my health. And yeah, I'm looking for chickens at night. In the dark. It's not exactly genius level animal domestication. The preservation rating of my storage vessel is so good because it is cold, yeah. During the winter, it's very easy to preserve food. In fact, you would not even need to put things in storage vessels necessarily, because it's so dang cold that that just ambient temperature will probably do. It will get you like 90% of the way there. But a storage vessel in a cellar in the winter is about as good as it gets. All right, what I might end up doing here is just trust my previous self and set up a chicken trap pit, even though I haven't actually found the chickens yet, because I had identified that they're around here. And I'm pretty close to the base, so it's not too inconvenient just to dig one out and set it up. Yeah, okay, let's just do that. So, here will work. So the idea here is to stick the trough and then fill it with some fodder. Doesn't need a ton, but as you can see, it's suitable for deer, goat, moose, chicken, gazelle, pig, sheep, bighorn sheep rather, and that will attract animals to it. But then make it so that it can't actually physically get there. And I'll even put a crop plot next to it and plant like, well, no, that won't work in the winter. I was gonna do a crop plot next to it, but yeah, that won't work. And then just dig the trap out. I should have brought things for ladders so that I can get out. Considering it's winter, 1 deep or 2 deep might not be enough, because if it snows more, the animals will be able to use the snow to get out. So I'll make it 3 deep. Normally 2 deep is fine, because most wild animals can't climb a too high pit. But snow can stack up enough to allow them out. I could just build a roof over it, sure, with this dirt. Maybe I'll do that too. And it looks like we're going to set up the ranch in the apiary. And what I'll probably want to do is to keep the creatures separate. Because the sheep are going to try to harm me until they're multiple generations in to domestication. So if I'm trying to collect eggs from the chickens, it would be best if the sheep were kept elsewhere. So I'll separate them out so that I'm not getting harmed every time I go to collect eggs. Because the sheep won't be... I won't be able to gain milk from them until they start lactating. So it's a sort of timed thing. All right, then out here, I'm also going to stick the traps themselves, the reed basket traps. And bait that with grain. Make sure that nothing can hop up on the roof. Not that it matters if they're up there. I don't know. It's my roof. I don't want any animals on there. All right, so that's just a very basic pit trap. And it's going to be marked out here. I'll make it skull and crossbones. That seems evil enough. There, pit trap. All right, let's start working on where we are going to keep the animals. Now, they don't need a lot of space. If you have a lot of space, I guess you could have them graze a bit easier, but like I wouldn't say all that important. Okay, we're spinning again. One nice thing, so as you can see, the storage here, it's 0.1 parish speed, just because the ambient temperature is like -10 Celsius. Yeah, it is so cold that like nothing is spoiling as a result. Which is also why I was not all that concerned about grabbing my pot of cooked food off of the fire, because I knew that it was going to be so cold it wouldn't matter. This is going to this is good for like a year, you know? There ain't no rush. Alright, quick glance. I'm mostly only really concerned about the flax and when it is harvestable. It doesn't look like it is. All of my settings are standard. If you're wondering about server settings or anything like that, they're all completely standard, unchanged from vanilla. It says so in the description. Can I use ice to cool things down? No. Don't work like that, sadly. I could leave that open. Actually, what I can do is start to, and I'm not going to do it until it's voted on, but what I could do is to start to redesign the doors to be a lot wider now that there's not a security issue, and like leave the doors open. Because again, there's really no security issue. Let's actually get the dirt that I had, and I am gonna probably want fences, dry stone fences, which means I'll need to do a little bit more excavation, but that's fine. Because what I want to do is I want to fill the fill this area so that I can put fences on top, and this will be where the fences go. Oops. Actually, that's kind of the wrong spot. But I can have a walking path around the base. That's not an entirely terrible idea. And I have a lot of dirt for that. It's this area that needed filled. Done. Alright. I don't think I have any more stone. Or not much more stone, so I'm going to need to mine some up. And yeah, the question is, does leaving doors open in temperature-sensitive rooms matter? No. Installation in this game is, like, very simple. So, yeah, that's not a problem at all. Will predators try to break in and eat my domesticated animals? Break in? No. But if you leave the doors open, yes. So predators can't, like, break walls or doors, but they can climb things. So if you have a too low... if you have a too low fence, they will climb in, and you will lose animals. So I was planning on putting in a high fence here. What are fences? Man, I don't have a memory for this stuff. 6, okay. I was planning on putting in a high fence like this, because the benefit of a high fence is, this is going to keep animals out. Also, I could line... I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea. I don't know about this fertile soil being exposed. I could line it with slab, but that's probably like not a project for right now. That's a project for later. So let's start mining. And unlike previous times mining, what I might start doing is to like mine myself like a mine shaft. Just because I might find something interesting. I might as well, if I need granite rock, I might as well be doing something else to obtain it. Something productive. And a little mine shaft can be productive. Oh, okay, I found quartz. See? Case in point. Although I kind of knew quartz was down here, because there was quartz bits at the top. It's funny, I go looking for quartz, and there's quartz, like, legit in my backyard. So, what goes after your stuff would be hyenas, bears, wolves, foxes, and then raccoons will go after, like, your skeps. So if you count bees as animals, which, you know, I would, raccoons also are predators for your bees. So you need to keep raccoons out of your apiaries, or away from your skeps. It's funny that we can see the windmill from here just spinning. Okay, I hear drifters somewhere to my right, which means that there is a pretty decent likelihood that there's a cave system over there, because drifters wouldn't spawn in here without some sort of cave system. So I'll head that way. And I'm wearing my bronze armor, so I'm pretty well protected from low-level drifters. High-level drifters are going to still give me a lot of problems. But low-level drifters should be fun. Oh, yep, there's the cave system. Hello! So it might not look like it, but this is really... I'm working towards animal domestication right now. I don't know. Vintage Story is weird. I'm in a mine. I suppose I could have made a wooden fence, but everything about my base so far has been granite cobblestone, so to keep the same aesthetic, I figure granite cobblestone is my building material choice. Oh, I also found tin ore down here. Whoops. Kind of lantern blocked myself. Rigged because I found tin ore at random. Yeah, it's kind of lucky. I ain't gonna lie. It's medium quality too. All right, who else wants to fight? Really? You're all missing? Well, I'll mark it down. I don't know if I am going to have immediate need for bronze, but why not mark it down? I don't know how deep that goes, but I'm a little unwilling to YOLO, especially after dying from the windmill collapse. Falling to my death. Alright, let's see. How much... I would say... 6 full stacks of granite's probably going to be enough for the fence. 64 fence tiles. Maybe I need more than that, I'm not really sure. I haven't taken a prospect here either, so let's do that. I could torch it, toss a torch down there to see how deep it goes, yeah. Ilmenite, cassiterite. So it's very poor cassiterite, but yet I still found some. And then ilmenite would be titanium, which is not a material that I need. Oh, it's not so bad. Although, that is like a tainted drifter, so it does get harder as I go down. Well, I'm here. Might as well mine some of this. Probably not too huge of a node. I could be wrong about that. But I'm really actually only after the stone. Which sounds weird, but at least we know there's cassiterite down there. Now, if you're wondering, there are cave systems kind of everywhere underground in this game. They're very plentiful. Like, I don't know the exact amount, but I would say if you dig straight down in any one spot, you have like a 1 in 5 chance of hitting a cave system. Something like that. Maybe not quite that high, but it is very, very common. And then if you have your, you know, if you're listening for drifters, you can improve your odds from 1 in 5 to like 1 in 3 just by digging towards noises. The other thing... Oh. Yep. The other thing I might want to do is to make sure that I door up the top so that anything that spawns in here stays in here. Because I am hypothetically creating creature spawners by digging out a giant cave in my backyard, and I don't really want a bunch of enemies spilling out of said cave. Unless I want to do some XP grinding. And we have a temporal storm approaching, so I am going to get home. It does give me the opportunity to potentially talk about temporal storm proofing. So during temporal storms, really anywhere, regardless of light level, anywhere that is a valid spot for drifters to spawn, they will spawn. So you can... There's a few different ways to deal with temporal storms if you don't want to fight. I don't mind fighting, so I'll probably end up just fighting this one out. But at some point, it might make sense to have like a panic area where there's no valid spots for them to spawn. So no valid spots would be like all of the floor tiles are filled. So for instance, if you had a room full of buckets on the floor, you know, or barrels on the floor where you can just stand on the barrels, like there's not a spot that drifters would be able to spawn around you, so they wouldn't. So it would be a door with a small room full of things stopping them from spawning, in other words.
Thank you for tuning in to Vintage Story, which originally streamed live on Twitch January 18th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you in next episode or upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Seraphs.